Hi everybody, welcome once again to Root Access. I'm Ryan Ritchie.
Jamie DeGrazio.
And of course here we want to answer your tech questions. Jamie is a former Mac genius.
Yep.
And I formerly knew that he was a Mac genius.
Former Mac specialist, key holder, business specialist. Yeah.
High roller. I don't want to brag. Anyhow, this week we're taking a look at some questions from most likely some new users or newbies.
Noobs, yeah.
Where does noobs come from, anyhow?
I think it's...
I understand it's short for newbies. I understand that
I think it's just like an online... I don't know.
Oh, you got pwned.
It's a video game reference, I think.
All right. So let's get into it. Some starter questions here. Jill wants to know, will any iPod accessory work with the iPhone?
Well, I don't think everything works. I think the majority of the accessories that worked with the iPod will work with the iPhone. Certainly chargers, things that are just powering the device. I think some of the wireless transmitters might not work.
Right. Well, just to clarify, it is the exact same connector. So if you have an existing, like you said, charger, it will fit on to the iPhone, and it certainly should charge it without any issue. Now, some of the things like FM transmitters, certain speaker sets do not work with the iPhone, or will only work with it in airplane mode, so it's turned off as a phone.
Yeah, I know a friend of mine couldn't get the hi-fi to work with his phone. Now, I'm not sure if he knew about the airline feature. I don't know if that fixes the problem, but...
What kind of friend owns one of those things?
The hi-fi? Yeah. I think he got it on a clearance sale.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, you know what? In Circuit City went out of business. They had like a dozen of them.
Yeah, they were selling for like $70.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Then, but I mean, for the price, the Bose, well, anyhow, we're getting off track here. The point is, most of the accessories will work. You'll want to check with the individual manufacturers.
And, not to interrupt, but I think most of the accessories now should say made for iPhone, iPod, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. So, there we go. Hope that helped you, Jill. Noob. Let's see, I've heard about video. I've used video iChat. Is there a way to record the iChats? If they're in video, what about text chats as well? With Leopard, you can record the video iChats natively. You can also, if you're using Tiger or older, there's a program called Conference Recorder from Ecamm Networks that will add the ability to record. Do you ever, just off the record here, why don't we stop tape for a second? Do you ever record any video chats?
I don't do video chats, but the second part of the question now about text chats, do they mean just like having a log of
like
the text?
Chat log, yeah.
Well, I mean, iChat, I don't know if it's turned on natively, but
it used to be. I'm not sure if it is now, though.
You can, in the preferences at least, you can check a box that says keep a log, a record. And then it just throws a file in your documents folder, I think.
And you can see them all. They're all individual.
And you can search them with Spotlight. And
I would just give you a suggestion not to do that. I think you'll agree with me. It can be really depressing.
If you go back, like 6 months, ladies that you were chatting up, and then...
a year or two.
Yeah. Especially if you just like Spotlight search the girl's name on your computer, and it shows up like... she's in your address book, and then there's like emails, and then there's these chat logs, and it can get kind of depressing. Anything
that happens in that chat is in that log. So if this has never happened to me, of course, but if let's say you sent pictures back and forth, that would still be in the chat log. Thank you for that question. Let's move on. Not a tech question. I'm ready for it.
Okay.
This is, I know it's not a tech question, but do either of you have advice on the Apple Loan program? Well, first of all, Apple Loan doesn't really exist anymore. It's now called financing from Apple, and the dirty little secret is it's a credit card.
Yeah, it always was, basically.
Well, there was a time when it was just the paperwork, but now you get a plastic card from Juniper Bank, and about the only perk to it is there are iTunes rewards. You know how sometimes you get frequent flyer miles, and that Juniper gives you iTunes downloads with so many purchases.
Now, does the Juniper card still do similar things to the old Apple loan, where they gave you like, I don't know, 6 months or with no interest?
Yeah, there is a promotion. I think right now it's 90 days, no interest.
But you may find that on just a regular credit card.
Because that's what it is. I mean, it's a Visa from Juniper. And it's kind of a shame because if you think about it, an Apple credit card could be really cool. You know, it would be titanium.
But they don't give you like an Apple
aluminum.
branded card, do they?
No,
it's just okay.
No, and you could, maybe earn points for different Apple products.
Yep.
Maybe be able to exclusively see the stream of the keynotes.
Now you're dreaming. Now you're talking crazy.
Priority seating at Macworld.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be a credit card right there.
Yeah. So what?
I bet you wouldn't be able to dispute charges at the Apple Store, though.
So what we're saying is you're probably better off just shopping for a low interest rate credit card from any number of banks.
Right.
That have, no interest for a year, perhaps.
And frankly, the interest on that card, again, at the time we were at the store, was high.
Yeah.
It ran fairly high. And I know people at times would be offended by it, because these would be people with spotless credit. And they would come in and get this card, and it would say, like 18, 19%.
Yep.
And I don't know if this has changed, but I know at that time you had to go through the whole approval process, and then it would say, okay, you're approved for this much at this percentage rate.
Yeah.
Like you didn't know going in what you're going to end up at.
Yep.
So be careful.
Credit cards are bad in general. I mean, they really are. So I would avoid.
We don't want to turn into
the credit card.
Susie Orman. If you're familiar with Susie Orman,
I am. Well, now they have this thing which I kind of got suckered into a little bit on the Apple online store. Is you can buy with Bill Me Later.
Yes.
Bill Me Later.
Oh, I didn't know they added that to the Apple Store.
Which it works fine, but you think it's some sort of bill you're going to get from Apple if you're not familiar with the website. But it's really just like a credit card. But it's through this company, Bill Me Later. But you think like, oh, well, Apple just sent me a bill and I'll just pay that. Well, you're really opening a line of credit with this other company, so.
So as evil as this is, I mean, the alternatives might be worse. I know when I got my first Mac, I used they had what was called the Apple Loan for Education. My first Mac was about $5,500 because I was doing video editing, and you had to have a SCSI drive, obviously.
Yeah.
How could you do it without, well, it turns out.
You could do it just fine, but yeah.
But anyhow, and I thought, in my naivete, I thought I had to have the Apple monitor because Apples were different.
Yeah.
A normal VGA wouldn't work, but of course it would have. But the point here is, the Apple Loan for Education, for the first 2 years, the payment was only the interest. So you'd get these payments that were like $12. And you're like, I love this. But took me...
So you're still paying that off.
Yeah, it took me 8 years to pay off that computer. But that computer still runs.
Yeah,
so
they built them well back then.
Let's recap. Back then, let's recap. As far as loans go, it's not really a loan anymore. It's a credit card. Shop around.
Yep, buyer beware.
Buyer beware. And also, another quick tip, most Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and I believe American Express, if you buy a computer or other purchase like that completely on one card, generally your warranty doubles for another year from them, making AppleCare
almost pointless.
See, I didn't have to say. So shop around for financing. Record video iChats. Yes, you can do it natively in Leopard. Just go into your preferences. Tiger, you can use Ecamm software's conference recorder. Text chats, you can do that automatically. Be warned, it's saving everything. I'm just telling you. It's all in there. And just about any iPod accessory will work with the iPhone.
Yep, look for the made for iPhone label.
There you go. That's going to do it. Don't forget, if you have a question, send it in root@thedigital.lifestyle.tv. Bye-bye, everybody.